Hello friends! Welcome back to my channel, and as always, thank you so much for coming back. Today we're going to be talking about Cancer rising. So I have a very intimate relationship with Cancer risings. My sister, who is only 2 years apart from me, older, is a Cancer rising herself, and she's probably the closest human being to me on earth, and so I'm going to speak about this from a very personal place, and from having observed this person for my entire life. So Cancer, well, let's start with the rising sign in case you're new to the series or just kind of stumbling upon this video. The rising sign basically explains your first impression in the birth chart. So if you kind of think of your best friend or someone that you know super well, how do they appear when they first walk into a room? Is it different than the person that you know? Is it like a people-pleasing type vibe, or is it standoffish and you're like, wait, this person's super friendly, like I don't know why they're coming across as so kind of stiff and not friendly. So the rising sign can be this either helpful or in some cases slightly harmful part of the chart that defines how you approach your days, how you enter a room, what do you like when you shake someone's hand. So Cancer rising in particular is ruled by the moon. So if you yourself are a Cancer rising, you have Cancer in the first house, you can say my chart is ruled by the moon. And as we know, the moon moves the most, it does the most every single month. It's always sort of changing its tone, changing its nature. It's very moody, so to speak. So Cancer rising is an extremely sensitive position for the rising sign, and because of this, it can make you feel a little bit like you're rolling with the tides of the moon. Some days you feel amazing, some days you feel super emotional, but regardless, the common theme is you're always going to be in touch with feelings. This is a very feeling-oriented rising sign. So just like Pisces rising, Scorpio rising, there's a heavy element of water, aka emotion, in this person's personality. However, unlike Pisces and Scorpio, Cancer is the most nurturing of the signs. So it tends to be associated with the mother. It tends to be associated with just like maternal energy or wanting to protect other people. So whenever someone's a Cancer rising, I always, let's say it's a client, I like to ask them, why was it necessary or helpful for you to be nurturing in your family of origin? Were you a caretaker? Were you parentified? Were you an older sibling? Was there something about this system that you grew up in where it was beneficial to be empathetic and also attuned to other people's needs rather than just your own? Because if you think of a typical child, they're much more concerned with their own needs than they necessarily are with others. But in Cancer rising's cases, just being hyper attuned to other people's feelings, and almost hyper vigilantly so in some cases. So if the way that it affects the appearance is, it kind of means that you have like you kind of have this lunar energy to you. So this tends to be softer, it tends to be more feminine, and by feminine, nothing to do with gender, more to do with energy, more feminine energy. And so this sort of, I think of kind of round shapes, gentle shapes, and sort of light shapes when we think of the Cancer rising. It tends to, so this is where Cancer, I think, always gets confused. It is symbolized by the crab for a reason. Cancer is extremely self-protective. It's very threatened by outside anything that appears to be potentially dangerous. And so I think Cancer rising, while it's extremely attuned to other people's needs and very helpful and nurturing where it needs to be, and especially where it wants to be, it actually can appear as very shy, even in some cases private and a little bit closed off, because they're not necessarily going to be spilling their guts to just anyone, like let's say a Leo rising or a Sagittarius rising might be. It's not necessarily the most trusting of the rising signs. And so these people tend to desire privacy. They are not going to necessarily be an open book upon first impression. The way that they've learned to navigate life is to sort of keep what's theirs and not necessarily aggressively ask you for information, and vice versa. They're not necessarily looking to be interrogated either. For this reason, I think especially when it comes to getting to know them on a deeper level, they're going to have a passive approach to life. So Cancer in particular, I covered this in my Cancer video. Crabs, if you notice the way that they walk, it's not necessarily in like a forward motion. So when we think of Aries being the ram, it like, you know, runs straight towards you. Crabs more so kind of like skid to the side. And so these people, their approach to life is like, you know, the safest way is to go a slightly more roundabout approach to life. So especially like when they're entering a room, trying to approach a new project or approach a new relationship or a new person, they're definitely going to be on the more timid and passive side. So they're sort of waiting to feel out the environment before they ever make a very sort of like defined next step in what they're trying to accomplish. Upsides, so many, just being super kind, very gentle. I think gentle is a really great descriptor for Cancer rising. Very nurturing, extremely perceptive. So this has anywhere to do from parenting all the way to, you know, being a partner to someone, all the way to being an amazing coworker. If you're able to pre-anticipate people's needs and if you're able to kind of read the subtleties and emotions on their face, you can be super helpful to others. The things that can be helpful to a Cancer rising is to sort of learn to ask for help, learn to express yourself, because in moments of being private and withholding your actual feelings for the sake of another person or for the sake of safety, sometimes you're not allowing yourself to receive help from other people. So similar to Cancer suns and Cancer moons, where can you learn how to trust? Where is it safe for you to trust, and where is it safe for you to lean on other people for support? Because more than likely as a Cancer rising, people very much lean on you to be some sort of maternal or protective presence in their life. I think that's everything to be said about Cancer rising. Feminine, gentle, private, self-protective. Yeah, I think we kind of got the gist of it. So coming up next is going to be Gemini rising. So that is, as you'll find, the sign that follows another sign makes up for what the other sign lacks. So for that reason, the sign before and after tend to have very, very different qualities. Just like my Leo video is just going to describe something so different than what I just described of a Cancer, Gemini you're going to find is very different than Cancer as well. So stay tuned. Thank you guys so much. And if you're not already, follow me on Instagram at NadineJane_astrology. And yeah, I will be posting next Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. Thank you guys so much. Bye.